I think we're golden now. Alright. Let's see, because I should be streaming on YouTube and TikTok. Just for what it's showing. Mute this so you guys don't have to. Alright. Alright. It shows me live on YouTube. Anyways, as I was saying, should be live on TikTok too. TikTok. If you drop a comment, I will see it. Of course, something went wrong. I think maybe you're not allowed on this. Well, yeah, while live, they don't like that. Probably because people have flown about the chat looking for common interest while they were streaming to pull in activity because they're live. New device, Mary. But Mary looks like a bot. Like, seriously, I don't want to show that. There's a lot of bots and weird stuff on X. Like, I don't know. That's all I gotta say about that. Seeing if these views look okay. I think maybe. That looks like that looks better over there. If I'm here. Anyways.
Gold is now calling ICE to get stoppable.
I like the drama.
If you have a police department that's...
I like the drama between Hassan and Asmongold. My audio is probably just not good. Let's see.
not accountable, or a law enforcement agency that's not accountable.
Bro, I can't believe he steals my talking points. Like, he'll call me a terrorist for the entire week, and then he will turn around and bar for bar, verbatim, rip my to his audience. And the same dumb in his community that are like, yeah, Based, he is a terrorist last week, will go, yeah, Based, you're awesome, Asmongold, the week after. How is this? Like, what are we doing here? This mother plagiarizing my How stupid, how mentally stunted is your audience that they can't even see this?
That basically is the Gestapo. That is the secret police. That is the SS.
Come on!
If you have a police department that's not accountable...
Anyway, that's too short of a clip to make an accurate assessment over where he's at, but I suspect that he's trying to do a wishy-washy, middle-of-the-ground bullshit. Even r/Asmongold is saying, okay, this doesn't look good. You want a context?
I think they should deport every single illegal alien in the country. All that being said, you can't have ICE. Because I'm a supporter of ICE, that means that I need to have accountability for ICE.
Oh.
And let me explain what I mean by that.
Oh.
If you have a police department...
ICE is not doing mass deportation and concentration camps the right way. Ezra Gold Klein. He's like, guys, what ICE needs to be doing is more abundance. You know, my problem with ICE is that they're not actually expedient and efficient in their concentration camp schemes. Oh, that's awesome. It's because I love ICE that I want them to do better. I think it's consistent when he says he loves ICE, but then also says in the same breath that it's Gestapo, because he's a Nazi. So I guess technically that is consistent. This is him just being like, listen, Mein Fuhrer, you need to ramp up the deportation machine, but you gotta also, like, you know, punish a couple of these agents if they get out of hand every now and then.
That's not accountable, or a law enforcement agency that's not accountable, that basically...
I'm just like, what the fuck is this gun? Like, for real though. It looks nice. I can see that it's taken apart.
Is the Gestapo. That is the secret police. That is the SS.
Like
so, and that was one of the big things that, like, I think that really you had with, sorry, I once again, I lost my train of thought. Just a minute. What was I saying again? I totally lost it. I forgot totally what I was saying. Somebody said something about Iran.
Yeah, good czar, bad boyars. Always. No, it's awesome. I've been using that a lot more frequently in my private affairs in general. I feel like I think about that quite a bit. It is definitely good czar, bad boyars all the way, okay?
And I totally forgot. Anyway, God, I wish sometimes. Liberal SS. Yes, okay, so basically, right. So what I'm saying is that this is another reason why I don't like to do debates. I just immediately forgot what I'm saying. In the middle of a conversation. And accountability. Yes, ICE is Gestapo, exactly. Well, what Gestapo was, right, is you had no recourse. They had no accountability. There was nothing that happened to them if it...
What? What are you saying? That wasn't the only reason why the Gestapo was bad. Also, he's straight up presenting it as though it's a good thing.
Did something wrong.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Gestapo is that they didn't follow the bureaucratic procedures. No, I think it was the kidnapping people. You know, mass repression, kidnapping, torture, like all the stuff that ICE is doing that's bad. That's why we call ICE Gestapo.
Motive was found on his social media. He was retweeting Kill ICE Agent TikToks. That's fine, but I don't think that they shot him knowing what was on his TikTok page.
Cool. Anyone that comes out and does some fake, for the record, because I don't think they have his actual socials, to be like, oh, he retweeted Kill ICE TikTok. Always talks about like, yeah, we gotta bring back insane asylums. Like, yeah, your fans are going in there, okay? Except they're not, because they're all European. That's so annoying to me. We can't even punish these motherfuckers. They're LARPing all the way from Austria. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, mein Orangenführer. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I'm so glad he's no longer taking over the Greenlands. Guten Tag. As Mein Kampf. You're so good as Mein Kampf. As Mein Kampf, you're so funny. It's wunderbar.
Like, I mean, realistically, like, I don't think this guy's a saint, right? Like, what? I don't think that this is some kind of, like, innocent guy that did...
Yes, he is. Shut the f*** up, bro. What do you mean? I don't think this guy's a saint. What more could he have done? Like, this is what I mean with this, like, wishy-washy bullshit. He's like, yeah, I don't think this guy's a saint. What is the problem? Did he, like,
I don't listen to Asmongold, but imagine they have beef pretty bad. And Asmongold, it's pretty right-winged. But they're always fighting, it seems. I haven't watched that.
We've talked a lot on this channel about why the Trump administration does what it does. And it's been difficult to analyze their behavior consistently, I think, because there's so much incompetence thrown into the mix. There are obvious intentions, right? We know the broad things they want. They want a white Christian ethno-state. They want infinite power for the president. They want infinite power for their federal police, who they're using as Gestapo, right? To an extent, they also just want to farm aura and hype moments online, because it seems like a lot of the administration is very online and really susceptible to that kind of...
They are hyper online, dude, and trying to be trendy to a degree where it's almost insulting. Because it's like, is it even politics anymore?
Engagement farming. Nonetheless, many people have wondered, why are they doing what they're doing in Minnesota? What's the goal here? I said yesterday that at this point, ICE is so widely resisted in Minnesota and so unpopular that even if the Trump administration decides to remove themselves from Minnesota, right, they pull out, they end the operation, people will celebrate it as a win for the anti-ICE people. At this point, like, they will understand this to be a defeat for the administration. Now we have a pullout condition. Take a look at this. Pam Bondi, the other day, sent a letter to Minnesota officials saying that ICE would leave the state if they turn over its voter files. A reminder to everyone here that in the United States, all business concerning elections, everything, your voter registries, how elections are conducted, they're run by the states. That's constitutionally protected. This is in the letter from Pam Bondi, the important part. Second, repeal the sanctuary policies that have led to so much crime and violence in your state. Removing criminal illegal aliens from Minnesota neighborhoods will save lives. Don't be a sanctuary state anymore. Third, allow the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice to access voter rolls.
You say they won't be a sanctuary state anymore? He really has a problem with sanctuary states or blue states that didn't vote for him. Trump seems very spiteful. That's really all I have to say about that. Very freaking spiteful.
Confirm Minnesota's voter registration practices comply with federal law as authorized by the Civil Rights Act of 1960. Fulfilling this common sense request will guarantee free and fair elections and boost confidence in the rule of law. Their signature is so bad. She does have the signature of a 5-year-old. That is true. How likely is Walz to accept? I don't think Walz will accept. For one, this wouldn't just be up to Walz. Like, this is a broad, I mean, it's not just the governor, it's also the House and Senate, and it's insane. Absolute.
The jokes and everything is crazy. Make Minnesota safe again. It's going with the same trendy Civil Rights Act. Wow.
Absolutely insane. Why do they want this data? Because this would allow them to cook the books. So here's what they want, okay? The thing they want most of all is evidence of voter fraud. Like, you turn over the voter registry and there's a bunch of incongruency in there that they can point at and go, oh, you have Somalis doing votes, whatever. Now, they won't find it because that's not how reality works. Millions of dollars have been spent time and time again, endless probes into voter fraud. It just isn't happening. It's not happening, right? What they will do, however, is cook the books themselves. They will access this registry, and they will either alter it or they will look over it and accuse the state of allowing fraud by pointing at things that are not fraudulent. This is nakedly an attempted voter interference, because if the DOJ can make an argument, no matter how bad, that the state's voter rolls indicate that it is not complying with the requirements of the Civil Rights Act of 1960, they get to sue and they get to blow the whole thing up. And then, congratulations, folks, this is the story we lead into in the midterms. Deep blue Somali-run Tim Walz state of Minnesota under attack by voter fraud. Investigations from our hero Pam Bondi have uncovered legions and legions of fraudsters, tearing the state apart. Who knows? This must be how Biden won in 2020. You know, it's the only explanation.
It seems like we've been talking about freaking voter fraud for quite a few election cycles now. Honestly, like several election cycles. Got some fitness stuff. My feed's pretty much news and fitness. Just news and fitness. The downfall of Dubai. Like cover-ups, Epstein. There's lots of different propaganda and killing going on in our country lately. Billionaires want you to be Christian now. We should really talk about curating our own feeds online, on the internet, and interactions with people online and on the internet. And how you can make a whole meal in a rice cooker. It's crazy. What? Flat earthers of TikTok.
Right, so there are flat earthers all across the globe, and we've already looked at a bunch of them in 2 YouTube videos, but today we're off to a different corner of the internet, TikTok, to see what those inquisitive little morons are up to there. So let's have a look. Alright, first up, are people really upside down in Australia? Flat earth questions.
So do you believe that people are upside down right now in Australia and that rain goes up instead of down? It rains up in Australia, and people are upside down, or in different parts of the planet, we're sideways. We're walking. We're.
I don't know. The Atlantic reports Greg Bovino has been removed from his role as Border Patrol Commander at Large, and will return to his former job at El Centro, California. That's kind of good news.
We're sideways as we,
Right.
That
Like Inception.
Do you believe that planes are landing on moving runways? Why can't I go up in a helicopter for an hour? If the world is spinning, why can't I hover for an hour and come back down and be somewhere else?
Damn.
No, not damn. Unless you're saying, damn, what a stupid couple of questions. I think a main problem with these type of flat earthers is that they can't conceptualize bigger ideas in their head. This is quite convenient, actually. I've got a little prop with me this time. I've got a globe. So I think when they picture the globe, rather than thinking of themselves as being on it, they imagine the globe like floating in front of them, but in Earth's gravitational field. So when they're going like, oh, so where's Australia? Here. So when they're going, we're up here, that's Africa, America there, we're up here, Australia's down here. When we're stood upright, Australians are upside down to me. They're still thinking about it in terms of me standing here with gravity all going this way. So it's going down this way, but it's almost as if they think that the gravity, this is really hard with the camera in the way, is also pointing that way. But down is just to the center of this. So you flip it upside down, the Australians are now going, well, you guys are on the other side. Why aren't you falling down? It's because everything is being pulled this way. That way, that way, that way. You saw none of that.
Watching our layman's explanation of, force, basically. Heliocentric and, I forgot what the other one is. But rotations and stuff like that. And if the Earth is flat is one hell of a subject. I guess it's just him in a talking head video.
Does during the night time. But I think when you're a kid, you kind of assume, Bear in the Big Blue House, the moon comes out at night. That is a classic example of a fantastic TV show that's getting it wrong. So I suppose if you don't really think about it or don't really learn about the orbit of the moon and how it works, seeing the sun and the moon at the same time, you're going to be like, hold on, we're kind of in
halfway
daytime.
Post.
Isn't that
I halfway believe the halfway post
on the other side of the world? How does that work? Because they're facing the other way.
The halfway post. They're kind of funny though.
For us, so that would only make sense if the Earth was flat. But if they picked up their phone to a buddy on the other side of the Earth and rang them up, they'd be saying, hey, it's nighttime here and there's no moon in the sky. And I mean, you can test this yourself. Find out when the new moon is for you. They're about once every lunar month. And at nighttime, go and try and find the moon. It won't be in the sky. And some lucky bugger on the other side of the Earth is getting to bask in the glory of both the sun and the moon. Two beautiful celestial objects. And then next time you get the honor of witnessing both, you'll be extra grateful. Like the Big Yellow Taxi song says, you don't know what you got till it's gone. All right, next up, back to the podcasts, and it's Logan Paul. Didn't he do a flat Earth documentary at one point? Like pretending to be a flat Earther? Please tell me he's not been convinced by it.
Do you guys think the Earth is flat or round?
Who's asking?
What do you mean who's asking?
I think it's flat.
A person that's in front of you.
No,
That's what we've been saying.
So you guys agree that the Earth is flat?
in our parody documentary, yeah.
When we were surrounded by the dumbest people on the
It was a joke.
We posed as flat earthers and infiltrated the Flat Earth Convention.
That is quite an interesting video to watch, actually, to sort of get inside the mindset of the flat earthers. I mean, you kind of get it from these types of videos anyway, but seeing them all in one space, in one convention, it's like being unique and special and having this community, because you can really see how important all of those things are to them. And it can kind of help you understand why some people become flat earthers, because you can sit there and go like, logically and scientifically, this is ridiculous. But then you go, oh, like you're a lonely old person and your partner passed away and you live by yourself and you've not really got any friends, and now all of a sudden you've got this community and you're really excited and meeting up and looking at the sun and the moon and stuff all the time, and now your perhaps somewhat empty feeling life has purpose. And I think as fun as it is to be like, haha, these flat earthers are so dumb, it's good to remember that there are just fallible humans on the other side. Anyway, let's see what the low gang are saying.
The dumbest group of people I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, so how do we know that the Earth is not?
Have you heard of Occam's razor?
No.
It's a theory that the simplest explanation is often the correct explanation. There are so many things and explanations that prove the Earth is round, correct, and true, time and time and time again.
Okay.
The same doesn't hold up for the flat Earth theory.
Is that going to the moon real?
I was gonna ask you why.
So does it mean ICE is leaving Minnesota? I said dude's fired. City of Minneapolis, city of Minneapolis. I guess so. The Adam Mockler post.
ICE is done. ICE is leaving Minneapolis tomorrow. Caitlin Collins breaks the news. Gregory Bovino, in particular, the Border Patrol commander at large, is expected to leave Minneapolis tomorrow. His public appearances did not go over well internally this weekend, including when he claimed Preddy intended to, quote, massacre law enforcement. You don't think. He came out and gave this inflammatory press conference. He and Kristi Noem calling Preddy an assassin, a domestic terrorist, said he was trying to massacre people. Just utter lies. Earlier today, a GOP Minnesota governor candidate, a Republican candidate, dropped out of the race and said, I cannot support the National Republican stated retribution on the citizens of our state. Now, Trump is the one who said he is going to bring retribution to Minnesota and Minneapolis, and this Republican candidate, who represents Jonathan Ross, the guy who murdered Renee Good, now says ICE is too much for him. He knows that the Republican Party is on the wrong side of history. He knows that these massive protests and this people power will not stop until there is accountability. Even Will Cain, a Fox News host on his midday afternoon show, came out and said, hey, we can't just jump to conclusions and call people domestic terrorists.
I do think
we really need to stop doing that. Unless, like, these people are killing people, and then nuance, because who's the only one that's really killing people right now? Or organization, I should say. Instead of the only ones killing people. I guess it did happen 8 hours ago.
Bye-bye Gregory Bovino, but you are just the beginning of the accountability that we are looking for. The breaking news that we just received is that Donald Trump has officially removed Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino from his position. And I also found it funny, they locked him out of all of his government accounts because he spent the past 24 to 48 hours getting into spats with people on Twitter, as I'll show you in just one moment. He's been arguing with people in their Twitter replies like a teenager. This is our Border Patrol, or was our Border Patrol, before Donald Trump fired him, removed him from his accounts, and is now replacing him with Tom Homan. As this Atlantic article reads, Greg Bovino loses his job. He no longer is able to do his favorite pastime of terrorizing predominantly minority communities with a disproportionate amount of gear in power and walking around with an unearned veil of authority, even though nobody respects him. It says the Border Patrol chief has been ousted from his role as, quote, commander at large and will return to El Centro. The cherry on top, as Caitlin Collins reports, is, wow, DHS has suspended Gregory Bovino's access to his social media accounts effective immediately. He spent yesterday responding to people who were criticizing him and trying to raise questions about his unverified claims about Preddy. As Max Steele points out, we're going to go into this fight that Greg Bovino got in before we go into him being fired, because this is very, very insane stuff. Max Steele points out someone might want to take Greg Bovino's phone away from him. He's spending his afternoon picking fights with GOP senators, GOP House members, and gun owners on Twitter, just going off on people. By the way, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed if you appreciate the timely updates and us going in depth on what's been
really is Commander.
U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy,
large.
a Republican senator, tweeted out, "The events in Minneapolis are incredibly disturbing. The credibility of ICE and DHS are at stake. There must be a full joint federal and state investigation. We can trust the American people with the truth." I mean, that's a pretty decent statement. It's a Republican saying, hey, this could severely damage all of our credibility. We should make sure there is accountability. Obviously, we wish it could come out more, but this is decent. Then, sick in the head, Gregory Bovino decides to reply, the same state that refuses to work with ICE is now going to investigate? How about investigating a certain mayor who told cops to fight ICE in the streets? You don't seem concerned about that. How come, Senator? This is all made more ironic by the fact that Donald Trump today called both Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey and then had nice words to say. He said, actually, we're all pretty aligned on how to solve this. So Greg Bovino is just throwing a tantrum in the replies. Yeah, there should be a joint investigation. That's how checks and balances work. I can flip this argument right back at him. He's saying that only the DHS should be able to investigate this, but why would I let the same DHS that lied about Renee Good and lied about Alex Preddy investigate this? No, we should have a joint investigation where both forces can check each other's work. That's how it should work. That's how it always works. Adam Cochran says he had a permit to carry. He was legally exercising his Second Amendment right. He did not draw the weapon. He was filming when they approached him. They had taken his weapon from its holster before they shot him. It was murder. Then Greg Bovino replies on Twitter yesterday afternoon and says, the victim is the Border Patrol agents. Lord have mercy. The Border Patrol agents who unilaterally escalated, pepper sprayed, pushed the woman to the ground, and then disarmed the guy and killed Alex Preddy. They executed Alex Preddy. You're saying that's